Well. What is up, ladies and gentlemen? Once again, it is Friday, as it usually does every 7 days or so. As you see, full house today. I got the Queens of Nerdum up top, Jen and Tay, and then for the first time ever, my brother, legit brother, by blood and all that stuff, Brian. You probably seen him in the comments through all the other shows. So off the bat, I want to just say that normally you come here and it's us making fun of some people, laughing at some silly stories that the internet will put out there. But um, this week the internet has been blowing up. I know, kind of in my circle, and everybody on the screen you see here is a vet. Um, we we decided there was something that we needed to talk about. I personally didn't feel um, that it would have been right to come here and just laugh and joke when something like that is going on, and the majority of our group and our followers are tied to the military, brothers and sisters in arms. So I feel like this is something that uh, we should talk about, um, and give other people the opportunity to express themselves. But if you don't know, what we're talking about is the untimely passing of Senior Airman Roger Fortson, who was stationed down there at Hobart with the special forces. Um, if you don't know, short story short, we're gonna talk about it. But um, law enforcement showed up to his apartment. Somebody called and said there was a disturbance. Airman Fortson opened the door, had a gun in his hand that he legally owned. Officer shot him 5 to 6 times, I believe, and the airman passed away, succumbed to his injuries. So I'm not gonna do the whole intro. It's Friday night coming. It's a pretty somber tone. So with that, I guess I will hand it. I'll let Brian start, and then we'll go to Jen and then Tay, and just kind of, I guess, your initial thoughts when you first heard it. I'm assuming some kind of like disbelief, anger, or anything. So, Brian, the floor is yours right now.
Well, like I said, when I first heard about it, I was at work, sitting at the desk, whatever, and you get try to distract yourself from looking at a computer screen all day. So you go down at your phone, and I saw a notification come up saying the airman was shot, and they had this little airman picture and stuff. So I hit the link and read the article, and I was like, what? When I was reading the article, they were talking about they were responding to a domestic dispute or something, and they went to the wrong door, and uh, he answered the door with the gun. Then he got shot, and pretty much, basically, that's what the article was pretty much saying. And I was confused. I was like, "Oh, what's going on?" He answered the door with a gun and wrong door, and so I had conflicting feelings about it. But then today, they put the video, the body cam video out, and I
Hmm.
saw it, and that's like the anger kind of set in. It was like, all right, what's going on, man? Because what I saw was, yes, the sheriff came to the door, knocked on the door. No, the deputy came to the door, knocked on the door, and said, he announced himself, his unit or whatever. But instead of standing there and waiting for the door to open, he stands to the side, which I understand. Yeah, you don't want nobody, once you say police are here, you don't want to stand next to the door so they can shoot the door or whatever. But if it's just a domestic call, then you're just gonna do what you got to do. Didn't say anything about weapons being involved or anything, so But when he finally answers the door, he has the gun on him, and it's like you said, it's drawn down. All he does, he pulls his weapon up and don't even say like put the gun down or nothing. He just one, two, three, four, five, six. After the sixth one, put the gun down. I'm like, dude, you already shot him. Yes, he's gonna put the gun down. So that's where the anger came from. And then also I had questions. Was like, okay, why did he have his gun when he answered the door? Uh, But in the article, I did read in the article saying he was on FaceTime with his girlfriend or something,
Mm-hmm.
and
Mhm.
he said he was talking to his girlfriend like somebody's beating on my door, saying the police is here. Uh, so I don't know why he grabbed his gun and went to the door. So that's what I'm saying. All these questions are covered up. So
Right.
that's why.
All right, Jen. How about yourself? No words. Tay, you got anything?
Yeah. So I originally saw the photo of this young man appear on my Facebook, and I didn't really look into it. I was just like, okay, well, I don't really know what happened. It didn't say it like in the Facebook post as to like what happened. So I didn't initially look. And that's like a foul on me because another airman down as somebody who's currently still in is it's rough. Like, and I should look. So, Mac over here, he told us about like how he was feeling a little bit over a messenger, and that's when I originally did my search and did all of the research, and I was shocked. I also saw the body cam footage, and I I was angry because I was just like, this guy didn't have his gun pointed. Like, he was just like, maybe he was scared because he's 23 years old. Like, he doesn't know any better. Like, he legally owns a gun, and like, why wouldn't you want to protect yourself? Didn't look like he was like in a gated community or
Mm-hmm.
whatever. So like, maybe he just felt like, okay, there's like loud banging and I don't know what's going on, so I'm just going to grab my gun, but I'm not pointing it. So I don't understand how the police are, or the deputy that was there, saying that this is self-defense because he wasn't pointing the gun. Like, I don't understand as to why this had to happen, and at what point in time are we going to say that police need extra training for being more tactful? Like in the military, you have the law of armed conflict, or LOAC as we call it. So like we get all of this training, and like, can you imagine if this happened while he was like, overseas or whatever? Like, if this police officer did this like over there and wasn't a police officer but in the military, like, I don't know. I like My husband AD and I have had a lot of conversations since then, and we saw like I said, the footage, and we were like, okay, well, he did announce that he was police, but like anybody can bang on your door and say that they're police. If you can't see out of your peephole like that it's an actual police officer, of course you're not going to be like, okay, well, it's just police. Like, that's ignorance.
Mm-hmm.
So I just, yeah, that was my thoughts um and feelings.
Um, yeah, like it was it kind of, it kind of just marinated through the day, right? Um, like when I first heard about it, I'm going into work. People are like, I see a couple articles, but I'm on the way into work, and where I work at, you can barely get on, internet to do what you need to do and all this other stuff. So, and then I was busy, had a graduation, so it was like a busy day yesterday. But as I'm working, um, a few airmen come in, and they want to talk about um, certain situations, and you know, uh, it's a small unit compared to what we're kind of used to. We only got 113 people, 119 with our civilian contractors and stuff. But so I mean, it's we have you know the airmen who are you know for lack of better, the black airmen. Once I got there, they're like, oh shit, our first sergeant's here. Black dude, he can relate to kind of the things that we've been going through. And when we first got there, because the commander, the chief, and myself, we're all new. We got there kind of around the same time, like late summer, early fall. So the DOX, which is just like a climate assessment, kind of having the unit talk about their experience in it. It was a lot of red flags, a lot of stuff that DI&A need to get involved with and stuff, diversity, inclusion, things like that. So kind of in a sense breaking up the good old boys club that was there. Then now we're trying to bring in something new, right? But it wasn't until these airmen started coming in and mentioning it, right? It's like, have you heard about the airmen at Hurlburt that got? And I'm just like, no, I mean, like I saw it, but what all happened, and they're all telling me and they're giving their thoughts. And the weird part is, right, like now that I know, like they were telling it, but as they're telling it, I'm just like, bro, who in the, like, I know officers do some off the wall stuff, but I'm just like, and that's it, like there's no other side to the story, like. So then you go see it, and you like, what can I tell? Like, what can I tell the airmen? They're like, Sergeant McCoy, this happened. I even looked it up. Like, they're doing research. Like, he's in Florida. He's legally allowed to carry that. He's in the thing. Like, yeah, he announced his presence, but if he's just going to check on a domestic disturbance, did he need to knock that aggressively, yell that aggressively? Like, any person at that point would be like, with the, I don't want to say the reputation of law enforcement nowadays, but somebody knocking like that, yelling sheriff's office, open the door that aggressively, you're in your own house, your own, you're allowed to have the gun. Florida law, you can have it. The gun was pointed down. And like, I don't want people to think that they're not well-trained, amazing law enforcement officers out there, and I know at any moment, like, life and death situation can happen there. But like I said, I'm not a cop. Like, there was no verbal warning at that point. The warning came after the 6 shots. Like, hey, put the gun down. Then if I can understand if, hey, put the gun away, put the gun down, and then you see the gun get raised, 100%, do what you got to do because you got to make it back to your family. But my man had the gun pointed down, not up. He wasn't trying to aim or anything. 6 shots, then put the gun down. You can tell it was the adrenaline for him to be able to respond, to be coherent at that point, to respond and say that I don't have it, the gun's over there. And like, if you continue to listen, you hear the audio, hey, I need, he tries to call medical. The fact that he doesn't start doing life, like, that's the part that gets me, right? Like, who you claim to have neutralized the threat or whatever. Are they not trained to start like doing any kind of CPR, any kind of care, any kind of anything while medical is on the way?
They're supposed to.
That part, you could hear when other people come up, they're counting the wounds. Yeah, 6. I see an exit wound here. Oh yeah, he shot up. Like, things like that. On top of that,
and it made it sound like he was insensitive to the situation.
Yeah. On top of that, this is the same, it's starting to be a trend. It's the same police department, the same Okaloosa. Like, you remember when they shot up the other person because the acorn fell and they thought the acorn was a gunshot. And I'm just like, you didn't hear about that? Acorn fell. Yeah, acorn fell, hit something. This dude was like, it sounded like a gunshot. So he shot an innocent. You know what I'm saying? I'm just like, I don't know. But now it's like, you know, it's one of those situations where back in the day, airmen would be like, what if they just come up like, bro, chill, like, you know, you in the service, police, police and service members, like we cool, they respect us, all that other stuff, and then this happens. Granted, he didn't show up to the door in a uniform and he shot him or anything like that, but like I just don't know at this point, like what to tell people, like. They'd be like, before you deploy, get your will, power of attorney and everything in order because, X, Y, and Z may happen to you, but you're at home. Bro, imagine getting off work and turning on the PlayStation. You about to play games with your boys. And then boom, 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 knock, knock. You know what I'm saying? And then like, you don't come back. You just finish working. Long ass day. You're like, man, I can't fucking wait to play. Stupid shit like that happens. I know they're doing their investigation. That's cool. I would like to hear from the woman who was just like, there's something going on in there, a loud slap. I heard screaming. I heard yelling. Like, again, it's an apartment. And I don't know if you remember that.
That's
that
the
area.
thing, though. We're not, we don't hear about what the original call was. We're only hearing about this. We're not hearing anything about, this will happen. This is why we were called to go over there.
Yeah.
Now we're just worried about, he came and somebody got shot. And, okay, he got shot. Then what happened? Why were you over there? What was that situation?
Right. Because the thing they're trying to argue is they're saying they showed up at the wrong apartment, which if that's the case, bro, that's
I mean, that's the issue. That's right. The issue at hand. Wrong apartment. Guy got shot. Yeah.
But the woman who called it in was like, there's a disturbance. I don't know. She get whatever. She's like, I heard a slap. I hear screaming. I hear, and like, I don't know how good the audio is on the body cams, if they should be picking this thing up, right?
Yeah.
It didn't sound like anything crazy was going on in there. If there was loud noise, bro, like if the family say he's playing video games, I know if I'm playing like Call of Duty, like back when like Halo, when that was out, bro, I was loud when I'm playing this shit. I don't know if it's because it was in an apartment complex and she's like, he's too loud over there, whatever. But that's the stuff I want to hear. Like, what was the initial call for? Who reported it? I get it. She has a right to protect herself because if her name gets out and is tied to this, everybody's going to probably villainize her to be like, you set him up.
Complex, like, yeah, that's her.
yeah, you know what I'm saying? Oh, you set old boy up. Yeah, and then now her life is crazy, right?
Yeah.
Got Janae in the comments. This should never have happened. As soon as the door was open, it was 6 shots. How many times we seen white folks with guns pointed up at cops? They weren't shot. There's no such thing as de-escalation when it comes to cops and people of color. And that's kind of what the airmen were talking about. Because, I mean, you go on YouTube and you can search whatever, like you see white people like legit slap cops. And the cops will be like, hey, like
I'm not going anywhere. I'm like, yo, what the hell? Like, why?
Yeah.
Why you allowing her to keep talking like that? Like,
yeah, cussing them out, spitting in their faces. Cops are just like, hey, calm down. Calm down.
Me. Like 5 people be on top of me, like, shut up. Shut
SWAT
up.
be coming down and everything. But it's and I don't know. I mean, like I said, we're all serving or have served. How do you feel about how the Department of Defense and higher headquarters and all that are just kind of standing by? Like, I get it. Like, you just can't, overreact and martial law stuff, but go ahead.
I think whoever unit he's with or, what's going on down there at that base, they're keeping quiet. They're trying to they're letting them handle that situation. They're the ones that put themselves in that situation. So as far as them speaking out saying, hey, you killed one of our troops, this, that, whatever. Yes, that's probably there. They want to say that, whoever's in charge. I don't know who's in charge of that base. I don't know the man. But they have to follow the protocol. Or yes, that happened outside of our baseline, whatever. That's out in town.
Yeah.
So you guys do your investigation, whatever. Give it back to us, and then we'll say what we need to say. That's how I look at it. That's happening. Um, but as far as you know, trying to pick sides, no, that's not going to happen right now. They got to wait until an investigation happens for them to speak how they feel about it. I guess that makes sense.
Yeah, we have AD saying the officer unfortunately is in a position to be at risk. That's one of the things where, and Jen, when you, I know, like, you know, when you're when you're ready to talk, just let me know, and I'll let you talk.
Okay.
It's one of those things where, like, when you become a police officer, just like when you join the military, it's like you accept the risk that at any moment the nation can call you, and you could be in a position to where your life is in danger. To, you know, either get the higher headquarters objectives, complete all of that stuff, whatever your nation needs you to do. Same thing with police, like to serve and protect, right? There's bad people out there. When you apply to be a police officer, I'm assuming that you know that there are risks involved, right? Every day you put the uniform on and leave the house, like there's a chance you're just like, bro, this may or may not, but you depend on that training.
Mhm.
And
And
I
of
want to
course,
jump into that too. Go ahead.
and
No,
of course, at all times you have the right, the inherent right to self-defense.
Right.
That goes for military too. So, like you were saying earlier, Tay, like if you're outside the wire, Afghanistan, whatever. Well, what's the movie? What is the movie? I think it was American Sniper when there was a kid walking towards the platoon, and then Bradley Cooper was playing the sniper.
Yeah.
Like somebody was just like, "Hey, I think that kid has a IED on him or whatever." Right? You got to kill that kid. And the dude's like, "What?" Like you know, like you either do or you don't. Like if you shoot that kid and he doesn't have a bomb on him, like there's a process for that, right? There's a trial after an investigation that goes. So like once the action is done, there's an investigation, and that's supposedly what's going on now with this deputy, right? The thing is, with officers usually given immunity and all this other stuff, like people are starting to feel like when they are found to be at fault, it may be because of emotions, they feel like the punishment doesn't fit the crime. Like officers are usually let off, you know, easier. And I feel a lot of that is because the city has to end up paying money, and the city is just like, bro, we don't have the money to be doing this, and all of this other crazy stuff, right? So I know you were about to say something, Brian. What were you about to say?
Uh, I was about to say that the use of force thing. Like I said, when I got out the military, well, my job in the military, 6 years Marines, 4 years Air Force, I was logistics.
Mm-hmm.
Supply, made sure everybody had what they had, whatever, and stuff like that. But when I got out the military, my what is it? Security clearance it was on secret. So when I moved here to Northern Virginia, I was like, well, applying for jobs, for my logistics background and stuff like that. But they wanted like at least a top secret security level to work where I wanted to work at, and
Right.
that's where the money. The higher your security level is, the higher, more money you'll make. So I started working security. First job I worked was TSA at Ronald Reagan. Checking bags and screening, X-ray, all that. It's cool, all that, but that didn't work out because, I don't know, things didn't work out. So I started working regular security as an unarmed security officer, and you start seeing things. You get into conflicts and stuff like that, and me being an unarmed, security officer, you kind of got to learn how to de-escalate a situation without having a firearm on your side or handcuffs or whatever else. But when I went into armed security, which pays a little bit more money, but not that much, but you have a little bit more police authority. You're not a policeman, but you have a little bit more authority as a police officer as being armed and stuff. You have to go through training to learn when you can put handcuffs on somebody and when you can use certain force on people and stuff like that. By me saying that, the force that the guy used at that door was
not proportional.
He was scared. He saw a gun, and the first reaction in his mind was bloom, 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 bloom. All right. I've been scared of situations as an armed security officer. All right, because my first gig as an armed security officer was an apartment complex in Woodbridge, Virginia, which was considered, the hood or whatnot. And I understand why they want you to be, because at first I was like, why you gotta be armed to go there? When I went there, I was like, okay, I see why. It's a bunch of craziness going on, drugs, this, that, whatever. But it's your demeanor, man. It's how you is, because people look at you. You're not even a police officer. You're just security. They just see a little badge and they see you got a gun in your head and handcuffs. They think you like, oh, you over here trying to control us. Like, no, I'm not. I'm just here because they hired me to be here. All right, it's that. Whatever. You talk to people. You got to have a reputation with people. And they call it, verbal judo. De-escalate a situation.
Yeah.
I'm saying, I see people out there smoking weed. They ain't supposed to be smoking weed in the area. I'll be like, hey, man, come on, man. You want to smoke your weed, whatever. You got to come down to their level and just talk to them like that. And they'd be like, all right, he's cool. Yeah, he's right. We ain't supposed to be here. Move on. That's how you do it.
Right.
But, you got some people out there like, oh, I'm the law. Did you see this gun on my hip? That's the first thing they do. And scary people that never been in situations like that, that's the first reaction to go to is the gun.
Try to establish authority immediately.
And dominance,
Dominance, that's the word, yeah.
That's what it is, though. It is like, that's not me. I'm sorry, dude. Anything I do, if I have to pull this gun out of my holster, I'm going to court about something. And why did you pull that gun out of your holster?
Right.
That's going to be the first question I get asked if I have to be in court in a situation where my gun has to be used or something.
Why did you draw your firearm? Yeah.
Thank you. And same thing with police officers, deputies, whatever, city cops, county cops, state police, whatever. Your gun came out your holster. It got used. Why was it used? Okay, this is the scenario that we're at now. Why was your holster? Why was your firearm used? He can say, oh, I answered the door. I saw a firearm. But looking at that body cam, I'm just going off of me. Looking at that body cam, the gun was down.
Yeah.
It wasn't pointed. There was no motion of him doing anything.
No.
It was just bloom, 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 bloom. Put the gun down. I was like, dude, you shoot first, ask question later. That's what
that's not how that works, bro.
It was like, so yes, it's a use of force level. Basically, that's what I was trying to say first. I just got out of context.
No, we hear you.
It's a use of force. But at that situation, he saw the gun, he got scared, and that's was his initial reaction. That's what he did.
No. Well, I can't tell you how many freaking videos I've watched of cops like body cams, like dealing with like Karens. I don't know why I subjected myself to that, but I did. But you see them, and I don't know how many chances they give them to roll the window down or I'm going to break it. Roll the window down or I'm going to break it. Exit the car or I'm going to tase you. Exit the car or I'm going to pull you out. And you know what I mean? They give, I mean, and I hate to say it, a lot of white people way more chances is what I saw than, than what they gave him.
Yeah.
So I'm drawn to think, and this goes back to I feel like, and Brian, you're 100% on board when I was just like, you think the DOD should do should be a little bit more vocal, like leaning on Congress to be like, you know what I'm saying? Like some like I agree that Florida has its own, like every state's their own thing. But there's a governor, there's a representative, there's a senator where they can talk to and make some changes. But um the soldier from Fort Hood, Vanessa Guillen, when they like found her in a trunk encased in cement out in the boonies and all that, and the press gets a hold of that, and here comes Congress and civilians and the American public. There needs to be changes. I don't feel safe sending my kids into the military with all that, and 100% correct. Like leadership needed to change, that whole chain of command and everything, that all needed to change.
Right.
Shoes on the other foot. Now it's the civilian side coming in and attacking us. Should bro, like you keep preaching we're a team, we're watching out for each other, and I 100% believe that the military is doing what it can to support the family of Airman Fortson. But bro, like
There's only so much they
as a
can
person,
do.
and that's what hurts. Like, bro, y'all got some people up there that can talk to some people that can possibly start making some stuff happen, because I don't know how many times poor training or their recruitment process, you're not getting the right people to do the job of protecting and serving. You're getting these scary people that they probably say all the right things during the interviews and through training, and then when they're actually out there on their own on the job,
It should be like a reevaluation process. Like it shouldn't just be like a one and done. You're good. That's just like my thoughts.
And what's up, Alex? Yeah, I mean, that's kind of what I'm hung up on. Like, and that's the part that was really eating at me yesterday, where I was just like, I want to go live and I want to share my raw feelings, but I didn't want to say anything that would like get me hemmed up or anything, because I was feeling a certain way. Because I mean, we're sitting here and like Jen, when we deployed to Iraq, like it was like we had to be a team. We had to look out for one another. Like it was
absolutely,
it was 100% realized. When Griff was lost, and then we go out there and people are just hanging out in their tents and using the shower tent, thinking like, hey, I'm gonna just shower, go, and then a mortar hits the fuel tank, and then like tents are on fire and it's ablaze. Like shit was real out there. You have to, hey, this is my brother, this is my sister, I got your back. This happens, and like it's on a national stage by a police department that was recently in the news for shooting an unarmed person because an acorn fell on a car and made a loud noise that they thought was like, first of all, what training are you getting where the gunshots in your your training sound like acorns hitting metal? Or second, how far did that acorn fall off that tree to where when it hit the car, it simulated an actual gunshot sound? Like
at least 50 feet. At least.
I mean, it's. I mean, I'm not justifying the deputy's actions, what he did, or anything like that. But being armed, you know what I'm saying? It's just like you said. You got the gun on your hip, whatever, and you're thinking that they see the gun, they're gonna listen to me, whatever, or like the police officer. You never know what type of neighborhood he's working in. And that's when it comes to, you got to know the community that you're working in. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. If you go to the community thinking like everybody's just, bangers and they quick to pull pistols, and it just comes back to what I was saying. Like, you got to use that verbal judo, man. De-escalate the situation before the situation even happens.
He didn't.
You know what I'm saying? Show that you're not a present of threat. Show that you're present. I'm really just here to protect people and stuff like that.
Yeah.
You know,
I mean, like the show Cops, like, not that it's like anything to like really like talk about, but the show Cops, you know, there's multiple times where you see policemen like go to like a public like a verbal or not an assault, right? Or like domestic abuse is the word I'm looking for. So you see that like a lot in Cops, and like at no point in time are they actually pulling their gun out. Like they de-escalate the situation. So just like, so that was then. That's like 10 years ago, right? Is the last time like Cops was on, because they have like live PD now or whatever. But clearly, like, you should be able to de-escalate a situation, and at no point in time should somebody just open the door and expect to get shot 6 times. Like, that's not
right? That
okay.
firearm, that's the last thing on the bottom of the list for use of force.
Last resort.
All right.
Right.
When I was armed security, the only time I'm going to touch that weapon is if I'm in danger, or if somebody else is around is in danger, and I need to use that to stop the person, whoever's doing in danger, to stop hurting everybody else. That's the only time that thing should come out. That's the last resort.
That's the reason why they give officers pepper spray. That's why they give them the what do they call it?
Lethal.
The bolo.
The what?
They have batons sometimes too.
They have this device that can shoot at them that wraps around their legs to trip them up.
Oh,
they have tasers. They have lots of other non-lethal methods, and the fact that he went straight to a lethal method. Not only did he shoot him 6 times, but it was in the chest. Is what is fucking terrible. Is that you didn't even like shoot him to like just
get
make him not a threat. Yeah, you didn't even try. Yeah, you didn't even just try to stop him. You're like, he shot him to like end his life. So you're telling me the officer didn't have pepper spray. He didn't have a fucking taser. He didn't have any other way to use non-lethal force.
Shit, dude, he had his voice to just tell him to drop the weapon before he shot.
He had the gun down and his hand up. If you look at the body, I know Kaylee told me not to look at the body, but I did.
Like, look, man, I have the gun too.
Right.
Yeah, his gun wasn't even up. That's the thing.
Like I would say,
and
like,
you know, to be. Go ahead.
No, go ahead, Jen.
No, and honestly, the reason why this upsets me so much is because I used to live there. Like Willie used to live there. Like I lived there. Coley used to live above me. You know, we were stationed in Eglin. Like I can't tell you how many times I've been on Holbert. That's why, like, that's another reason that it bothers me so much. You know, I used to live there. Like Coley literally lived above me, and I used to make fun of him because I used to listen to him play Halo, and he used to get fucking pissed, and I used to laugh at him the next day. You know, I mean, it's I mean, this is like my stomping grounds. You know, as soon as it said Okaloosa County, I was like, "Are you fucking kidding me?" I can't tell you how many times I've been on Holbert, like BX, and you know, been in fucking Shalimar and Niceville, and I lived in Fort Walton, in Crestview. You know, like I know where this kid is. I'm like, you're telling me it's not fucking safe? I'm like, are you serious?
That's the
like,
and that's now the public perception, right?
Yeah.
Do you not think the supervisors, first sergeants, and commanders who have people living in an apartment complex don't have people coming to them like, "Yo, what the
I mean,
hell is going on out here?"
Yeah, like the reason why it upsets me so much is like, I don't know what I'm gonna do if I came to work and they told me if I was in the airman ready room that something happened to one of my friends. Like that's the only thing I could think about. Like yesterday and today.
Mhm.
Like, oh, hey, McCoy, he got shot. Why? Because he answered his door. That's why he got shot. And that's why it upsets me so much. Sorry.
Right.
No, you're fine.
No, I mean, and that's kind of where my mind was at yesterday. Is like,
Yeah, you do. That could
it's
happen, you know?
I'm like, it's like the threat is not supposed to be in Garrison.
Yeah, exactly. Oh, God.
that's
100%.
that's
Like,
that's the part. Like I get it. Crime will happen. God forbid, if it wouldn't have made it any better.
no.
A criminal breaks into his house and there's
Right.
a scuffle, a battle, and that's the reason he passes. My heart would still be just as hurt, and I'd be looking for y'all better find whoever did this. That
Right.
was he was one of us.
Yeah.
The part that
Absolutely.
hurts me is, and this is any young person that passes. I'm just like, you just snuffed out any potential this young man had.
Yeah.
And he had
From what
so
I've been
much,
hearing,
you know.
he loved his job. He loved work. He loved the things he was doing, the people around him. Like,
Oh,
who
did
knows
you
what he
hear what
could
he
have?
did?
Who knows what he could have achieved?
Did you hear what his job did? I looked and saw what his job was.
Yeah,
Yeah, he was a munitions loader for Spectre
8 gunships. Yeah,
for AC-130.
Yeah, some
I'm like, are you
pictures of little
fucking kidding me?
places and stuff like that. I was like, okay.
Yeah.
and
I
and
was like,
and
an AC-130, like, oh my God. What a
gunship
badass job.
munitions loader. He is just and
Like,
he's just like, I love what I do, and and it's I'm looking at the comments. So Kately, shout out to Kately first of all, man. Rest up and get better, man. I know you just
yeah.
had your procedure today. Good people can make horrible mistakes. You can be a good person and not be qualified to do their job anymore. That cop shouldn't be
Mhm.
qualified anymore. 100% agree.
Yeah.
But I don't. There is and this was like, I forget the name, but there was an individual who was in Mesa. White dude. He was under the influence of something. Unarmed. Cop is trying to give him verbal directions. Obviously, the person cannot comprehend. And I'll look it up and put the name. But dude's just like, get on the ground, put your hands up, get on your knees, put them behind your back, walk forward. The dude is like obviously already under the influence of something. You're giving him fucking pro level Simon Says directions, right? And when he doesn't follow them, and the dude is just walking towards you like, bro, I don't have any. You shoot him, right? He was a white guy, right? White guy. Cop just gets laid off, but he gets his pension still. So now he took his pension and stuff, and he flew like out of the country, and he's living like somewhere out of the country. But that's his punishment. You just can't be a cop anymore. Gone. But this family's sitting here without their dad and their husband.
Mhm.
I think that's the part. And it's tricky. Like, do we just capital punishment? Like, if a cop legit makes a mistake, like, are we just taking his life in it? But then, because you can't do an eye for an eye, you can't do a life for a life. Although, like, it's to be vulnerable, like when and Brian kind of talked about it with Kim, like when I found out about my younger brother, right? I was just like, they told me the situation and how it passed. Bro, it had to take whatever force in the universe to just like hold me in place. Because as I'm driving up to Fredericksburg to see my family, it's like, because it happened in Richmond, and I'm just like, do I just go to Richmond and just, you know what I'm saying? Do I just find and start asking questions and finding this dude, and later for my mom to say, when was that, Brian? Like he shows up to the house to try to make peace and talk to my family. Like, no, you don't understand. It wasn't,
Yeah,
bro.
I
I'm just
was
like,
kind of like, why didn't you call me and tell me he was at the house? Because I had some questions I want to ask him, but yeah, he came to the house. And
bro, like I was gonna burn Richmond down, bro. Like you took my brother from me. I can only imagine if he was taken this way. Like the outrage I would have. It's in their family, they're doing the right thing, they're following policy and the legal, they're lawyered up, so forth and so on. But as an enterprise, like I know it varies by jurisdictions. Like, I don't understand how law enforcement, police, like they don't have like some kind of fucking meeting. Be like, bro, it's not looking good for us out here. Like we gotta figure out a fucking way to ensure we're things like this don't keep happening. Like mistakes are gonna happen. Like let me tell you, ladies and gentlemen, the military is not fucking the fucking cookie cutter amazing group of individuals. And I can tell you that being in 20 plus years and then the 1 year of doing first, bro, the things I've dealt with, I'm just like, the military is bending over backwards to ensure you guys don't figure out that this shit is happening. And when it is put on blast, like Airman NCO, whatever page, or Air Force Times, or like the thing at Fort Hood, bro, like that's when we swoop in and it's like instant justice. People are getting fired. Like, but behind the scenes, you don't know what's happening. But the publicly, you're just like, yeah, that dude's getting out of here.
it depends on the level of eyes. If
Right.
a lot of eyes on it, then yeah, we got to say something. No eyes on it, yeah, keep it in house.
Yeah.
Yep.
But ladies and gentlemen, this is all eyes. So now we're sitting there like the ball is in your court. Like I will say that area is very pro-military, right? You got 3 bases right there: Tyndall, Eglin, Holbert, Pensacola's down the street. Then like that part is very support our troops, support our troops. I think Kately put it in the comments before, like if he was to have answered the door in his uniform and having a gun, do you think gunshots would have been taken? Or do you think it was the appearance of young black man, white t-shirt, ripped jeans coming to the door with the gun? Now it's a threat.
I mean, I want to say that's a play in it. It is, because I mean, it's. I want to say it's the way media puts people out like that. Or if you dress like how the media makes you to look, then that's how you're going to look to certain types of law enforcement. I'm not trying to say all law enforcement looks at everybody the same way. All right. I'm not going to say that. I'm not going to say law enforcement is bad. You need law enforcement. Look, I'm all aboard for law enforcement. All right.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
But not everybody needs to be in law enforcement. Okay. Just like any job, like the military. Dude, why are you here? Who recruited you? Why are you here? This, what I'm saying? Same thing with any job. You're going to have some bad people in something, messing something up.
So,
and I'm sorry, go ahead.
Brian, I don't mean to cut you off, but I kind of focus on what he was wearing. That shouldn't matter. It shouldn't, because I mean, if you want to take it so far as, when women get raped, it's because of what they're wearing. That shouldn't matter. It shouldn't matter what he was wearing. He was in his home, and from what I read, someone was aggressively knocking at his door and he was scared. So he grabbed his gun. Dude, I would have a shotgun mounted to my door if it wasn't for my husband talking me out of it, because I tell you what, if you knock aggressively at my door, I'm grabbing my fucking gun.
Right.
So you're telling
he knocked it, hit around the corner.
When they knock on the door, boom, 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 boom. Police, sheriff, whatever. You're like, and like you said, they were going for another disturbance.
Yeah.
And he's in his house. He's on the phone with his girl. And all of a sudden, somebody beat on his door. Yeah, he gonna jump like, yo, what's happening?
Like, why are you knocking on my door like that?
Talking to his girl, like probably talking some bull stuff. Like, man, someone on the door knocking crazy, man. Let me go get my gun. I don't know what happened. He probably did look out the peephole, but like you said in the video, the cop went. So he probably looked out like, I don't see nobody.
Yeah, like anybody can say that.
Yeah, boom, boom, boom again. Sheriff, he's like, just like you said, anybody can go to your door and be like, police. I mean, come on now.
Yeah.
People are
Bullshit.
doing dumb stuff nowadays, man.
Right.
You know what I'm
Yeah.
saying?
And I mean, and I still go back to the body cam where he opens the door. He has one hand up and the other hand on a gun, but it's not held up. His gun is straight at his side. The barrel is pointed down, just like I'm sure he was trained to do, that we were all trained to do in the military. You hold the barrel down, right?
Yep.
You know
Unless
what I
you're
mean?
wanting to take a shot, your gun is always pointed
Yeah.
down.
And the first thing that officer did was shoot him. He didn't say drop the gun or anything. He saw the gun. He shot him. I'm telling you right now, that is not the way police are trained.
Nope.
And told him to
That's not
stand
the way they're
back
trained.
as if he wasn't already like.
I'm like,
Stand back. 0.3 seconds later, you start shooting. Like, bro, give me a
Boom,
chance
boom, boom,
to
boom,
follow
boom.
your fucking
Drop the gun.
directions, bro. Like,
I did drop it when you shot me.
That's what because he said, drop the gun. He's like, I don't even have it no more.
It-
You shot
It's
him.
over there.
Yeah.
yeah,
I'm
bro.
like,
Oh my.
I'm like,
Can you
did-
just
you know,
imagine
you
that, man?
didn't-
like, bro,
you
you
didn't
just
give
shot
him
me
a
6
chance.
times. And you still yell at like I'm no longer a threat.
yeah.
He told him
like,
not
you-
to move. Like the
Don't
shots
move,
don't
like,
hurt.
bro, you-
Like
he just got shot.
Help
He's
me.
gonna move.
Like you shot me.
It hurts.
I'm fucking, whatever, neutral, whatever, bro.
No, and
No life saving.
no, and Kaylee brings up a good point. Is how many cop videos have you watched? And I'm not here to roast police officers. I'm just looking at this specific one. But how many cop videos have you watched where they give the person a chance to comply? They give them several chances to comply.
Yep.
Now, granted, I have heard stories of police officers knocking on front doors, and all of a sudden somebody opens it and like blows them away. I get that is also a reality too, but that's not what this young man was doing.
Right.
Point blank.
And John's comments. He said he hasn't watched the cam footage. The deputy didn't. After he shot him, he called for EMT to show up, and he told the airman, "Hey, hang in there. We got medical coming for you." Like.
And that's the thing, though. He didn't try to like any like CPR or anything to try to
Nothing.
revive him.
Try to, yeah.
or at
nothing
least like put
that.
pressure on the wounds.
So, and I try to, and this is like force a habit from what the job was. Like you try to peel back the onion, look at it from different aspects, try to see what the like was there anything that could have been done different? Like, bro, I get it. Door opens, right? First thing you're going there for, and we've talked to security forces here as a first sergeant. You talk with them, you go through an exercise of, hey, domestic disturbance. You arrive there as the shirt security forces, or if you're being notified, like you get there, the defender is not going to, what is it? Elevate the level of whatever's going on, like de-escalate. He's not going to escalate it. So the banging on the door, yelling like that's one thing they're not trained to do. They're not going to do that, because if tensions are already high on the inside, God forbid, one spouse is beating, like once you hear boom, 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 open the door, police, like that may trigger that spouse to do more stupid stuff, right? Knock on the door. Hey, it's us. Hey, we just want to check in. What's going? You don't hide, because like you said, Brian, anybody could just bang on the door, like boom, 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 sheriff's office, hide, and then you're just supposed to trust. Well, it's the cops. They got my best interest in mind. You open the door, and it's a home invasion or somebody stupid or trying to rob you. It's anything. And then in Florida, I think somebody put it in there, the castle law, like castle doctrine, right? So no retreat. So anybody on your property, anybody stepping by your home, you got the right to defend yourself. So he, by all intents and means, had rights to hold the gun. My second thing is he opens the door. The gun is down. You already have your gun up. You have the advantage. Hey, step back, put your gun down without pulling the trigger. If you were really that scared, step back, put the gun. Like there's so many different things I'm looking like, why didn't you do this? Why didn't you do that? Why didn't you do that? the first thing is just, bro, 6 shots? Like, bro, John Wick only takes 3, bro. 6?
It takes 2.
Well, he does like 2 to the body, like John Wick stuff. Pop, pop, pop. You know, he makes sure. But
8
like,
people in the room, so he only needs 2 shots.
bro, it's crazy. Like 6 shots.
But you also saw on the body cam footage him going up to the door before he even aggressively knocks, just listening to hear anything going on in the apartment. And you don't hear shit.
That's another thing too, because I ran into a situation where I heard a domestic dispute happening in an apartment one time.
You hear it.
I did not knock on the door, be like, "Hey, stop!" I was like, first of all, I called the police because that's my job. I'm a security officer. I'm not there to arrest or whatever. I'm there to report and say what I got to do. The only time I got to put handcuffs on somebody is when the situation gets out of hand. You know what I'm saying? And like that right there, I heard something going on, and what made me knock on the door after I called the police, because I heard the person say, "Put the knife down." That's when I beat on the door and said, "Open the door, security." Bam, 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 bam. And that's when they opened the door, and wasn't no, guns drawn, nothing like that. They were like, "All right, shit, something happened," because they expected, because they knew they were doing wrong. So that's why they answered the door. But this guy that answered the door, nothing was happening. So that right there was unexpected to him. He didn't know, like, why are the police knocking at my door? If it is the police, he didn't know. He just knows somebody's beating on his door. The people door that I knocked on, they were doing something. So that's why it's like I said, it's a scenario.
Well, to me, if he's standing there listening at the door, and granted, we can pick this to pieces all night, but if you stand there listening to the door and you don't hear anything, if you're really that nervous that you're coming in like bangs out, call for backup.
Yeah.
You don't hear anything. If you're that nervous and you have your weapon drawn, call for backup. I mean, there's so many different ways that that officer could have handled this situation. And I think it really comes down to, like, he didn't de-escalate at all.
No, he didn't.
No.
He went for like max force.
He went from 0 to 100 real quick.
Yeah, he did.
I remember seeing in the comments, somebody said that deputy had a history with shooting.
Lauren said that.
And if that's the case, what are we doing? You're still giving this dude a gun?
Yeah,
bro, you guys know, you've been in the military, bro. Somebody do something wild, with the weapon, something unsafe, something to trigger any kind of thought that, hey, maybe giving them a weapon ain't the best thing in the world. Hey, bro, you got a order to not be armed. You know what I'm saying? It's you can't. We're not giving you a gun.
Oh, look what Melanie said. Our sheriff in Santa Rosa said right next to Okaloosa, so it went viral for telling homeowners to not worry about shooting intruders. That makes his job easier. Yep. I've heard, my mom used to be a deputy in St. Augustine, and she said that what did one of her training officers say? Dead men don't talk.
Yeah.
Stop.
Yeah, you can't even say that in court. Like the court, like your case will get appealed if like your person says that, like, oh, well, there is another side of the story, but they're not alive to tell it. Like your case will get like turned over.
But in this circumstance, he was FaceTiming his girlfriend.
And I think that's what's kind of saving the situation.
So you do have the other side.
Right.
Absolutely. 100%. And he was still FaceTiming with her when he answered the door. And that's where you get his side of the story. Yeah, she heard everything. Yeah. I know, that's the inside scoop. Like, we have some of the military inside scoop, and through various people, we have the inside scoop from what, our law enforcement has. It's not all of them are bad. I'm not saying everything's bad. but you have a few assholes out there that are part of the Proud Boys and the good old club that are good old boys that, you know, they got in because of whatever
I think
reason. And
No,
I
I
think
agree with Jen. Like I said, I'm not knocking law enforcement. We need it in society. We need some
100%.
yeah, we need it.
And
But
I'm
there are some people
respectful.
there that
Yeah.
will take advantage of their position of power.
yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
And
I will
it's
say
those few that ruin it.
to John Moore's comment here, as far as do you think leadership, and I think we talked about that earlier. And Brian, you kind of were leading towards it, like there's policies and stuff in place. So anytime a major media event happens, that basis PA will jump in and start giving directions, and kind of like a publicist for a celebrity, like damage control.
Like
Like,
PR, right?
hey, here, this is what you say. This will keep us out of legal trouble and allow the process to work, right? And something
Right.
this popular, like it's probably not coming from their base PA. It's probably coming from like MagCom. It's probably coming from AFSOC.
Oh,
You
100%.
know what I'm saying?
Yeah. Yeah.
SOCOM is their PA is just like, bro, we're flying in and we're handling this. We'll direct all questions to us.
Mhm.
You know, the chief master sergeant of the Air Force put out a comment like 2 hours ago about it. Like the fact that it takes
Did
this
he
long,
really?
yeah,
Good.
it takes
Good.
this long for them to make a statement, lets you know that they have been working with PA. They've been working with all their people to make sure they're putting out the politically correct statement at the time. Because I don't want to. Here's what I want to 100% believe in my heart that everybody wearing a uniform is fucking pissed.
Yeah,
At
Oh,
a
I'm
certain
pissed.
level.
yeah.
I'm
At
not
a
even wearing a
certain
uniform. I'm fucking
like
pissed.
from the lowest ranking up to the highest ranking person, like the joint, like chairman of Joint Chiefs, like Colonel Brown better be in his office, like put me on the phone with Okaloosa right now, you know.
Yeah.
And they got to, hey sir, you can't, sir, you can't. Let me. I want to believe that that's happening, and I get it. You have to follow that, but at the same time, like I'm hoping there are discussions behind closed doors, as far as, bro, like if this is happening over here, cool. We're not letting our airmen stay in these apartment complex. We're up in BH. They gonna stay up fucking Crestview. They staying. We're getting the fuck out of these fucking
Yeah.
these hood ass fucking apartments. And once money starts coming out of these people's pockets,
Yeah.
like they're gonna start doing different shit. You know, they're gonna rise up and they're gonna go to these city council meetings like, hey, because your dude came and shot that airman in my apartment complex. I lost out on this many tenants. So what are you guys gonna do about it? Like like they gotta understand it's not a right to have the military base there pumping money into your local economy. It's a privilege. And when you start taking money from that city, be like, hey, yeah, y'all can't live in these areas. Like watch you better up these people's BAH so they can stay in these nicer spots away from fucking racetrack, because y'all know racetrack. Y'all know that road. Like it's not it was like the off-base dorms. Like the minute people got out the dorms, they're just like, let's all go to this apartment complex here, you know, and it is what it is. But that's the shit the DOD needs to do, is like, well, fuck y'all. We'll watch out for our own people if y'all ain't gonna watch out for us. That's just my thoughts on it.
Well, and Melanie brought up a good point. Like, if I was in their chain of command, I would immediately get my airmen out of that complex.
100%.
Yeah. And you know, just to put it simply, you know, if you look at it, Roger Fortson, he was an senior airman in the military fighting for our freedom, right? Because you join the military for,
he deployed, got a decoration for supporting operations overseas.
Yep.
He fought for that officer's freedom. Think about it that way. He fought for his officer's freedom. Like he played in, military, like he served in military campaigns and fought for that officer's freedom. Think about that. Let that ruminate. Like that's what I was thinking about today. I'm just like, wow, he fought for your freedom.
Senior airman
Whatever.
with the air medal. Like, bro, that's like John. Like, first of all, John,
Yeah.
are you officially retired yet? I know you
It's
clicked
not
the button.
true.
Are you out? Like, you have a beard and all that good stuff.
Yeah.
So I was stationed with him
I
at
mean,
Tyndall. So shout out to
like
John.
like if I met like Willie, I don't know if if you remember when we were deployed and we were in I think it was when we were in was it when we were in Balad? It was when we were in Balad, and I remember they were running a campaign, and I was just getting off scope when the Spectres came in. So anybody who doesn't know what a Spectre is, it's an AC-130 gunship. That's the big bitch that has the big 108s
The
on it.
ghost.
Yeah, we call it the Ghost. Other people call it Spectres. It has many names. Very, very beloved if you're in the military. And I remember getting off scope, and I was just going home because I finished my shift, and I remember hearing that boom, 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 boom. I was like,
Mhm.
and I remember the security forces. I was like, "Fuck, man, what is that?" He's like, "Oh, he's like a Spectre," and I was like, "It is?" He's like, "Yeah." I was like, "Oh shit, I was just a part of that mission." I was like, "Damn that." I'm like, I had a hand in that. That's what he was doing.
Mhm.
He was doing those munitions, and if you guys don't know, or anybody watching this, watch some of the YouTube videos about this crew that has how fast they have to replace these munitions. I mean, that job is no joke.
They got like 4 different type of
Guns.
guns on the ship.
Yeah.
You got the low levels. You got the like, yo, we gonna do some
Yeah.
damage to a building. We
Right.
just want to shoot people. We got man.
Look how fast they load that shit. I mean, it is no joke. When you're a part of the flight crew of a Spectre, I mean, it is like I would bow down to them. It's amazing what they do. And that's
When
what this
we were
young man did. Yeah, I
and
mean, it was
and
just
the crew of gunships are probably the most down to earth, coolest people. Like, I mean,
they
it's
are.
there's a part
They're
of them that's
so
like
nice.
they know what they're doing is badass.
Oh
But
yeah.
so like when
They're
we
so
were
cool.
when we're downrange controlling them, the gunships, like their call sign was filth, right? So when we would get on day shift, like when we would get on day shift, bro, listen, we're getting off day shift, like they're coming back from their mission to land and stuff, right? Because they do all the special ops stuff. So like they're calling in, they're checking in, and they're looking to get handed off to approach. And hey, you're clear. Yep, go ahead and push, and you tell them the frequency and stuff. They're all right. Have a good one, Kingpin. Stay filthy. And I'm just like, ooh, that's so cold, bro.
It is
That's
right.
so cold, bro.
Damn.
You know, and like they
That's
would
why I like aviation, man. They be like,
yeah.
it's
They're
so
like, appreciate that, Kingpin. Stay filthy. And I wanted to be like, ooh, I wanted to say something slick.
man, bring the
But our
rain.
SD, our
Bring the
SD be
rain.
like, stay
Yo,
professional.
right.
Stay professional on the radios. We're not going to have that. I'm like, come on, man.
No,
They call me
dude.
stay filthy, bro. I can't say
I
nothing
tell you what,
wrong.
I wish Tommy were here to back me up. So I remember when we were deployed and I was trying to get airspace for one of the gunships. And I told him stand by because I had to clear an airspace. He's like, "It's cool. I'm just here to blow shit up." He said that on the radio. And that was like, oh,
Is that when we were using
Yes.
the old school tape to record stuff?
yeah.
Oh,
Yeah.
shit.
You were there. You were
Fucking
there
old ass
when we
tape.
were in
Yeah, man.
Balad. And and that's how cool like the gunship crew is. Like they just I mean, they're total badass. I think those and like the A-10 pilots are like my favorite. They're just, yeah, it's cool.
Oh
I'm
my
just here to
God.
blow shit up. I'm like,
Yeah.
oh, you
A-10
guys are the
pilots,
best.
man. It's I think they were there for the troops, man.
They're a whole different
They are.
breed.
Absolutely.
That's why
And
they're like when this is all public. Like Congress is like, let's get rid of the A-10s. They're dated. We got F-35s that can do this stuff, right? Bro, the Army is just like, hey, yo, chill, bro. Like, hey,
F-35 cannot do what
hey,
the A-10 can do.
like,
slow
can
down,
it,
cowboy. Like,
can it do this mission? Yes, but how long? The A-10 can loiter for a long time. the
Mhm.
jet engines on a like, hey, bro, hey, I gotta go get some gas. I'll be right back. They be like, where you going? You know, the A10 will be there. And then second, it's like it's a visual thing. Like enemies know the A10. They see that gun, they see that thing coming. They're like,
Yo, they
this
just hear it.
airplane's whole mission. This
shit.
airplane's whole mission is to kill
Yeah.
us.
Exactly, Brian.
'Cause they would do
Yo, you see it before those guns go off, and that is the
the
most
number of times,
terrifying thing
the
ever.
number of
Right.
times that like troops in contacts, like when we were doing Afghanistan, have been
Mhm.
just eliminated due to a show of presence. Like they're just like, hey, we just want to get down to about 1,000 feet, you know, hit a little strafe thing, dry strafe, just a show of presence. And like we'd be like, all right, cool, you got the airspace, and they would do it, and then the tick is just automatically canceled. You know what I'm saying? Like motherfuckers see the A10 and be like, oh yo, this shit is serious. Like it ain't that.
Shit.
We'll let you,
They
let's
brought
get
the
out of here,
pen.
So I mean, all of that special forces, and there's one less member to do that now
Melanie.
because of this, and that's the shit that fucking sucks, man. Like
What
would I feel
mean,
better if it was like
badass job.
a retired vet? Like no, but a part of me is like, it's to end somebody's life that young, who willingly raised his right hand to do something only 1% of the population is willing to do.
Mhm.
Nowadays, it's hard to get people to join the military nowadays.
Yes.
Yeah.
Bro, the only branch that met recruiting goals last year was the Marines.
That's wild.
I'm surprised.
What were they doing? We'll give you $1,000.
Hey, bro. Hey, here's a Camaro, my boy. Get it.
I mean, I joined the Marines in '97. I'm like, what are they doing now?
Hey, you see that Charger SRT? Hey, sign for 6, boy. It's yours. I don't know, but
And
the only bro, that blew my mind when I heard that. I was just like, bro, you lying. The Marines? My brother brought back the DVD for, hey, this is what we did in base or boot camp. I saw that. I'm just like, Air Force it is, bro. So y'all had 2
I'm not gonna
MREs.
lie, man. My first day at boot camp, I was like, man, what the hell did I get myself into?
Oh no.
13 more weeks, my boy.
3 months.
Bro, I was done after 6 weeks. I'm like, bro, y'all ain't nothing in here, man. Let me hurry up and get
Yeah.
out of here. And I'm looking like, y'all did 13 weeks. Y'all different. I mean, y'all blues is lit though. The dress blues is.
yeah.
Yeah, the
Oh,
uniform
that's
tight.
fire.
He said, yeah, the uniform tight. That's probably how they get them in.
Yeah.
Hey, do you want to wear this bus driver hat over here in the Air Force, or you want this shit?
Oh,
Well,
Look,
John
man,
said in
look,
the comments.
See, I did the Marines and I did the Air Force.
Mm.
The Marines uniforms, yes, they tight. Air Force uniform, I mean, yeah, they're decent. But when I did put the blues on with the jacket, I was like,
You looked at yourself in the mirror.
I'm like, I hope I never have to wear this like in a ceremony or something.
Put it on. You put it on. You thinking you look good. Then you step in front of the mirror like.
And then I'm reminded, I used to wear this. I look at the blues. Like,
You're thinking you're going down the aisle of fucking United Pan Am or some shit. We got coffee, soda,
plane. Like, all right.
coffee,
You
soda.
only get a splash of
peanuts.
soda.
Yeah, I put my blues on.
Nah,
Like,
but
I guess like a
one
month
thing I
ago.
will say, man, one team, one fight, man. That's what I learned.
Yeah,
Mm.
That's all it is.
bro. Marines come in offering you cash off rip, bro. My man said they came and offered this kid $10K right out of high school. You thinking like, bro, that's it?
No.
You know?
He
That's
in
how
NBA
they
at the
get.
NFL. Like, a signing bonus.
Yo, bro, that's how they got me. I came in for 4. They're just like, if you sign up for 6, we give you $5,000. What? They didn't tell you it was taxed. So then after the taxes, you're like, man, I got 3,600. That's 600 more for every year of fucking bullshit that they be putting me into. But
You
they
know,
get a lot of people like that.
not to bring it down a somber tone, but you know another thing about Roger Fortson is that he's what got me too is that he's 23. Like I'm old enough to be his mom.
Yeah, my son is 22. My oldest.
Yeah, that's what I mean.
Bro,
like
bro.
The
Okaloosa, it'd be man on fire. I'd be down there like
yeah. I mean, his
Troy. Send
mom,
him out.
like
Send
the
him out.
military, like had to have something with his mom because I mean, you could definitely feel what she was feeling because I watched a lot of the newscasting with her. But I honestly, I mean, I don't know what I would do. Like, I mean, just from like it being my friend's standpoint, like if it was like you or Kaylee or Kel or Warren or Coley, like any of my friends, I don't know what I'd do. But I mean, my son, I honestly, I don't know what I think I would probably black out and wake up a week later and somebody would have to tell me what I did.
Mhm.
Because I don't know what I would do.
That's very understandable on your engine. I do understand where you're coming from. Like I said, not to downplay the situation that we're talking about or take
Not at
away,
all.
but
Sure.
like my brother when he passed, my mother same way. Father, he was trying to be like, oh yes, my father was hurt. Mother was devastated, and I can't imagine how this young man's mother is feeling right now, just before Mother's Day. You know what I'm saying?
Oh,
And so yes, Jen, you hit it on the head. You're right. You're right.
I
You know,
mean, I think I don't remember the exact situation, but I think there was a mother. You can see her in a TikTok where it's in the middle of a courtroom and she stands up, and I think this is where before they started screening people for weapons, and she stands up and she fires 6 or 7 shots into the man that took her daughter. I think that would probably be something similar to what I would do. You have
what's that movie with Samuel Jackson? Killing. What is it?
Time to Kill.
Time to Kill. Right. When he went into the courtroom and
Yeah. I mean, that's my child. Like I can't even like wrap my brain around it. I think it's just so devastating. I mean, she called him her gift. I think he was a gift to a lot of people, and again, I think it hits harder for me because he was one of us.
I could only imagine what that unit is going through, man. They just lost.
I can't even.
A brother, and then,
dude, what we
because
went through
the mission has to go. The mission has to continue, and you saw like when Griff passed. Yeah, like here's your time to cry, but tomorrow we gotta get back to it. We out here in Iraq, like we just can't not do our jobs.
No, I mean, like
a way you got to try to.
And that's the thing, though. It didn't happen in combat or military related. It's some senseless bullshit. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And that's the thing, but I don't know if it hurts any less.
No. It doesn't. It doesn't because family.
Yeah, no. Yeah, I'm not devaluing what you're saying, Brian. I'm just saying, like, I don't know if like in garrison or being deployed, like if it hurts any less. You know what I mean? Because like even though Griff died while we were deployed, like it still hurts to this day.
Yeah. And without getting to like it, when you look back at what happened in 2003, like it could have been avoided.
It could have been. Yeah.
But
stupid
people in charge had, I don't know, they were kind of trying to boost themselves and make it look like they did something epic that it wasn't even needed for. But
no,
Jedi's in the comments. Shout out to Jedi. He says no matter how this plays out,
Jedi
it'll be horrible.
Yeah.
And to be honest, his concern is that even this example, this in your face, all law enforcement needs training and accountability fucking example, will be lost on those who are responsible to stop this shit and to address it in all ways it needs to be addressed. This man that was shot was our colleague, our brother, our son. And that's kind of where it's at. It's like I'm not too well versed on local political chain and who has the ability to do what for a certain jurisdiction, police department, so forth and so on. But it's hard for me to sit back and look at the enterprise of law enforcement across this country and believe that they're not trying to do what they can to save face, not save face, but like, hey man, this is a fucking trend that's going across the fucking country. Like, our perception is this. What can we do to ensure that this, like other police departments, like they look at this, hey, what do we do to not be like Okaloosa County? Like, what do we do? Like, what does our training look like? Like, nobody is looking at this shit like, hey, can we amp up our de-escalation training? I think that's the biggest thing. Hey, you're showing up to a reported, like it's not even confirmed. Like some lady is just in an apartment complex, like I'm hearing yelling and I think I heard a slap over here. So now you go in there fucking banging on the door 4:30 in the afternoon like it's a fucking drug raid. Boom, 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 open the door, ATF, like a DMX skit. You know what I'm saying? Like, bro, just knock on the door. Sheriff's department, you know, stand there so he can look through the peephole. And in his mind, he's probably thinking like, man, sometimes they shoot through the thing if they see a police officer through the, like, bro, if you that scared, bro, there's other lines of work for you, bro.
And that's what Jen was saying. Like, if you feel uncomfortable in that situation by yourself, call other people to come.
Right.
That's why I help you. And I think this is one of the situations where I would be comfortable with some sort of like robot taking over that human job because
I don't need no robot taking over.
Because I don't. Because a robot's not going to look at the color of your skin. They're not going to look at what you're wearing.
Right.
They're not. Do you know what I mean? They're not going to look at that.
They're not going to immediately pull out their gun and fire 6 times.
Yeah, it's going to be unbiased. It's going to be all programming. You know, I mean,
it just needs to be like RoboCop, like half human.
Yeah,
you know what I'm saying?
We need Peter Weller in a robot costume
because he was just like the laws were like downloaded in his head, so he would have seen that and known like my life's not in danger yet. Like, you know, he's so black, you know, black and white on that. And that's the problem when you get people, because there's always the human factor, you know, like I said, like going through the recruitment process, he's probably answering all the questions, giving them all the answers they want to hear and everything. But who knows what his backstory is, what really traumatized him. Like, I don't know what kind of psyche val these people are getting. I know when you start the process to become a first sergeant, man, the psyche val they do now, like I'm looking at this thing like, damn it, am I good enough to do this shit? Because the questions they ask, I'm just like, you got to answer truthfully. I'm just like, you know, because the things you can see and hear, like, you know, you show up to work, you know, it's brought to your attention by OSI that a member in your unit has been producing and distributing child pornography of kids these ages and stuff. It's brought up to your commander, like, what are you doing? And my role as the first sergeant is to advise my commander to, hey, let's not jump to conclusions. Let's let the investigation go through. But like a part of me inside of me, I'm just like,
burn them.
It's the human factor, and you got to remove yourself from the situation. You know, you show up to a domestic thing, and you see the wife is on the ground holding the kids, scratched up. The husband sitting there. He also has bruises across his arm from like blocking. He's saying the bruises on his forearm was for blocking when she was swinging at him with the baseball bat, X, Y, and Z. Like, which one of the members are, and it's like they put you in situations like that where you got to sit and think and try to be as objective and, hey, let's just separate you guys and instead of pointing the blame and stuff. Because like the general, the lens that the public would look through is just like, as the man, you're probably the stronger of the two. It's probably your fault. We got to get, you know what I'm saying? So it's just a lot of questions they ask you to make you think about that. I don't know what law enforcement goes through, but I mean, when you're put in a situation where every day you go to work, they're giving you live ammo and a gun where you could potentially take somebody's life to save somebody else's life. you got to know you putting the cream of the crop out there. You know, you got to know that the people you are entrusting.
And
Go ahead.
some security company, the security company that I work with, that we do armed security and stuff like that. I used to question the same thing when we went through gun training.
Mhm.
I mean, prior Marine Corps, going through gun training and stuff like that. I know how to appreciate the weapon, know how to safely handle a weapon, not muzzle this, all this, that. But the people that they be bringing on, like, oh, we're gonna throw you through gun training, and we're going through, the weapons training and everything. And I'm like, why is this guy here? It's like some of the people I have to question.
Yeah.
Like, what are you doing? Like, is this guy ready to handle? Does he
Well,
need to go through another 2 weeks of this, or are you going to just
Probably.
that's what I'm saying. It's like you never
Maybe
know
you're
what goes on behind the scenes.
Maybe you're the paperwork guy. Maybe you're the paperwork guy. Like you still get the pay. You know what I'm saying? Like
you still get the
you just
penny.
ain't out there in the streets.
Yeah. And like
but you're not
furthermore,
killing nobody.
yeah, like when Eric went through his training to be a probation officer, I mean, Jedi kind of touched on it in one of his comments. They're not unified. The state police go
this
through
one
their
here.
own training. Even the Rangers go through their own training. The probation officers. I mean, everybody, they all go through separate training. It's not unified. And I think that was one of the things that I'm not sure if I talked to you about it, Willie, but having a unified sort of police force, because the jurisdictions are so vastly different and then the training is so vastly different. I can't say if one is superior to the other, but
but there should be a baseline.
I don't know if there is.
Tay, you're right. Tay, it should be a baseline, but there is a baseline. Okay, Tay, you're right. There is a baseline, but because of this, like Jen was saying, jurisdictions and city, county, how you go and vote for different laws and stuff like that. Each legislation is different depending on the jurisdiction. So not all police officers can do the same thing everywhere within the same state or county or city or whatever.
Yeah.
So that's where the conflict happens.
And I am, although it kind of makes me sad in a way, but I'm happy in another way. Melanie says that she's in the VAR. So this is actually where my in-laws live, where I'll be visiting in the summer, that you can feel the tension in that community, which I'm kind of glad for that in a way, because I'm glad that the community isn't okay with sweeping that under the rug
when they have those those meetings. Like these, they can make their voices heard, because these people are like, we want to get reelected again.
Well, I mean,
that's why I think that's why the sheriff put out that body cam. He said transparency. I appreciate him doing that, but is he doing it because he's honestly want to be transparent, or he just like, I want to be sheriff again?
I mean, that thing was going to get. He was going to be ordered to release that thing, or he do it himself.
Or let me do it now, so get it out of the way. Like, I don't know.
Well, and if I were a military service member that was there, another thing I would be looking at, which I think Melanie also touched on, what about my family? If I'm going to be facing deployment, is my family going to be safe while I'm gone? Is my family going to be safe in this apartment complex? Or is somebody going to hear fucking weird noises from my apartment? Maybe I'm listening to a movie too loud and they're going to call the cops on me. Do you know what I mean? Like,
or say your family is in there. You got your kids.
Yeah.
Mommy, what's all that? Mommy, what happened over there? What are you telling your kids? Do we feel now? And then now, are we cool? And shout out to Eric for kind of breaking it down, because he did law enforcement in Florida. He's saying that there's no, what is it? A level of ordinance requirement. So there's no I guess restriction on the level of force you use to de-escalate a situation, I guess. So he says they're not required to use the lowest form of ordinance. in Florida.
And that's why I
Got
moved.
fired.
She said that's why I moved.
That's why I don't live in
You know what
Florida
I'm saying?
anymore.
I'm pretty sure it's not to the point where it's just like, you know why I pulled you over? I was doing 50. Pow! Got,
So
you know,
these lawyers
I
out
know
there
it's-
just
yeah,
going ham. Yeah.
it's not to that level, but if the officer can fandangle away, I'm not saying but like if somebody wanted to be a dirty cop and fandangle the way to be like, I was in fear for my life, so that's why I shot him. You know, it's that.
And
I mean, it's so many incidences where people roll up on people's homes. You got the incident that happened in Dallas where that officer was either super tired or drunk, went to the wrong apartment, opened the door. It was in the living room, and my man comes down the hall like, "Hey, who are you?" And she shoots him. Right? She gets 5 years with the ability for probation or parole in 2.5. Right? Amber Geiger, I think, was her name. You know, shoots the black dude in his own home. Like he hears somebody come in the apartment. He coming down the hall like,
No,
Hey,
she said
so
she
what do you-
thought that was her apartment or something.
that's what I'm saying. And then
Mhm.
after she shoots it, she's looking around like,
This
oh,
is
this
not
ain't my
apartment.
living room. Yeah. Oh shit, I'm in the wrong house. And I killed somebody. Oops. You know, 5
Oops.
years available for, parole in 2.5. Then there's
So-
the other one in Dallas where who was it? I think he was showing up to do a wellness check. Looked through the window, saw somebody through the window, claimed that they were doing some shit.
No,
and
they
shot
were
them through the
doing a
window.
drug bust or something, and it was the wrong house.
No, that was the one in was it Kentucky, Louisville, or something like that? But that's the one where they like showed up to the house. It was shooting, and like my man was shooting back at them, and they're just like, "Oh,
Yeah,
we're getting
because he
fired."
had somebody shooting in my house.
He was returning fire. That's why we went in there and killed him. Louisville. Yeah, that's it. So I'm just like, bro, like there's so many incidences
said
where
it.
cops just, bro, you make mistakes. I get it. Like the warrant had the wrong address on it, whatever, but I mean, you just Grand Theft Auto this shit. This isn't GTA, bro. Like you just can't shoot at people and expect them not to be like, oh shit, let me shoot back. Like it's their right to defend themselves. And then when they're proven wrong, they're just like, first of all, that district
It's a
attorney for
work
that
mistake.
case, like he let all the cops off the hook. I think I got to go back but
No,
he was
he
just
did.
like,
No, he
we
did.
saw
He
nothing
did.
wrong.
Yeah,
Eric
no.
points it out. The
Breonna
fact that
Taylor, that was her name, that died in the shooting.
Yeah, the fact that we're getting so many cases confused together is sad. There's so many we can't even tell the difference.
Yeah.
Now, I will tell you that again, I go through my weird points and I watch cop videos, and there was a video where a female cop was shot. A white gentleman, for whatever reason, shot her hand. She still pursued him in her vehicle, and she was still composed enough that when he came out and he put his hands on top of his head, she didn't shoot him. She was able to subdue him. Granted, I think she had like an MP5 or like an AR-15. She had some sort of like assault rifle, and then she also had to his father showed up, and his father was just like, what the fuck do you do? But anyways, that composure is there. I mean, I don't know if I'm asking police officers to be superhuman whatnot in her circumstance, but I'm just like there has to be some sort of training. There has to be something. Like there's something missing. Like you can't just shoot you can't. It's just like I try to tell my kids, you can't break a plate and say sorry. That plate's going to be broken forever. It's not going to ever be fixed.
This part here, right?
And Bogey hopped in the
for those that know, so like
80.
So our
80.
job, we're like telling planes you're allowed to shoot and kill.
Yeah.
Shoot a missile and neutralize a threat. If the pilot ejects, it's cool and stuff.
Neutralize.
But end of the day, we're following this ID matrix law of armed conflict. we're looking at the scope and we're just like, they're like, declare this group. Yep, that group right there is hostile. Fox 3, bam, shoots that guy.
GBA.
They
Right.
look and they're just like, man, you just shot down an airliner. What happened? The controller right there, Sergeant McCoy, told me it was hostile.
Now you
Sergeant
got to
McCoy
go pee in a
said that.
cup. You got to go poke tapes. You
said
got to
that?
go do everything.
Yeah, I was a little confused. I'm in jail. I'm in jail.
He's really
This
close
man-
to that hospital. It's GBA.
This man opened the door. Step back. Hey, bro. Hey. I was scared. I did what I had to do. Again, that would be, I guess this incident would be like,
Sorry.
this scenario would be more like if the pilot was sitting there looking and was asking for a declaration and I was late to declare that group, whatever it was. And he was like, I don't feel safe. Law of armed conflict, he has the right to self-defense. But when he lands and they do that debrief back and they're looking like, why did you shoot this guy? Still, I bet he'll be like, well, Sergeant McCoy was late with the declaration call. So, why were you late with the call, Sergeant McCoy? Like, are we really throwing this on me? Or like that? That's the wild stuff out there. But again, I think Eric was hit the head on nail on the head. Jedi's in here. How many copies? Because the one that keeps coming to mind is it was up in, I think, in Minneapolis, Philando Castile, who got pulled over. Officer was just like, do you have a firearm? And, or, you know, asking him questions. His wife was in there. His kids were in the back seat. And he's just like, yeah, I do have a firearm here. It's registered. And, you know, the cop just, you know, was like, pop, pop, pop in the car, right? Wife there, kid in the back. It's like when you see stuff like that, and then the investigation to the public eyes, like cut and dry, like that was unnecessary. Man told you up front, this is where the gun is at. It's registered. I got all this stuff. I'm gonna get, and then all of a sudden it's gunshots, right? Because the cop is scared. He doesn't think that he's actually going to reach for license and registration. He hears there's a gun in the car. My man starts reaching, and he's just like, fear for my life. Pop, pop, pop.
So
In front of wife and kid. You know, it's things like that. They happen, and I think somebody put in the comments like time goes by and people kind of just, you know, forget.
so
And then something else happens, and then it causes us to remember the other events. And it's just like the cycle is just going to keep continuing, or is there a legit change or something that has to happen?
What were you got to say, Jen? Because I was about to agree on what Jen was saying earlier.
Oh, okay. Go ahead, Jen. I'm sorry.
No, when Jen was talking about robots and stuff, I was laughing because comically.
right.
But I do understand
Yeah.
where she's coming from. It's like because
It's unbiased.
fear, it's a human factor. But go ahead, Jen. I'm sorry.
Yeah. I mean, I saw AD. I mean, a lot of that has to do with like human programming, but I'm hoping that the people that programming them are, you know, dickheads, so to speak. I mean, I don't know about you guys, but you know, I've been pulled over a few times. You know, a few times I've been the driver, and then other times where I've had friends that have been the driver. And I remember I got pulled over with a friend when we were going to Colorado. And they were speeding, and I remember the only thing the officer said. I mean, anytime you get pulled over, like I get nervous because I'm like, oh shit, like, and I don't mean you guys. I'm always worried like I'm gonna get fucking in trouble or shot or some shit. That is still a valid concern of mine, and I remember the first thing the officer asked was, you know, are there any drugs in the car? And we were like, no. And he goes, are there any weapons in the car? And there were probably about 4 guns in the car between the 3 of us. Now we always followed the
state
I
laws,
agree.
or whatever state you're.
Yeah, we always follow the 3-step law. Like I think all of the you know, clips were like, you know, in the glove compartment and everything. Well, like we always try to follow the 3-step law at the very least. I agree, AD. We get nervous for very different reasons, and I don't know if police officers like take that into account. Like the people that you pull over are already nervous for whatever the reason may be, and it's It's never fun for anybody to deal with law enforcement. So I don't think asserting dominance is really necessary. Like that dominance is already there.
Yeah.
But it's the way that they handle the situation. Like, you've already fucking pulled me over. I get it. I did something wrong. Like, you don't have to continue. Like, dude, I'm telling you, like, watch some of these. If you guys have not watched any of these videos of these officers pulling people over, and I'm telling you, the reason why a lot of these people get away with it is, I don't know if it's just because of it being like a TikTok channel or a YouTube channel, but it progresses way further than some of the things that you've seen that we've talked about that have ended in tragedy.
Mm-hmm.
You know, and I'm sorry to say that a lot of the people that get away with a lot of shit are white.
Yeah.
They are.
When I was in the
I mean,
when I was in the academy, we had a guard dude who his full-time job is Dallas Police Department. Like he's out there. And we were at lunch and he's like, when I do these things where we pull people over and the driver's nervous, or I pick up on small ticks that they're nervous or they're trying to hide something. He's like, a routine traffic stop, like my whole goal at that point is to figure out what is in his car. So I will, like, the things he was saying that he would do, I'm just like, bro, that's low key like entrap. Like, is that cool? Like in your head when you're doing that, you have no absolute proof.
That's that
This is
verbal. That's
this
that
is
verbal judo that they do.
yeah. I mean, it's cool, but
they don't know the law.
Verbal
So I can
judo.
say
I'm gonna use
something
that,
to
dude.
find something to get something on that person.
right.
Yeah.
Like, why are you like, and like I said, this person first time get, like, it could be somebody just got his license, right? Like just 18. Hey,
Mhm.
got your license, driving by yourself the first time, pulled over, super nervous, like, oh no, I'm in trouble. And now you're thinking like, oh man, this dude's nervous. There must be something in his trunk. Can I look in your trunk? Can I search around? You don't need to do that.
So
Yeah.
If you have no probable cause for nothing, and if you're probable cause, like, that's it.
Thank you, Eric.
that's a gotcha attitude. That's the bullshit I'm
Thank you,
talking
Eric.
about. How
If
is
the
that
reason-
serving and protecting?
If the reason is speeding, and you write the
That's
citation,
all you need to do, right? The speeding.
Get 'em
Yeah,
for
you were
speeding.
speeding. That's why I stopped you. But hey,
why are you speeding? Because you're trying to make a drug delivery.
who's in the
What's
back?
your trunk?
Well, who's doing
Yeah.
that?
Why are you
What's in
doing
your trunk?
55 and a 54?
And just because someone exercises their right with, you can't search my vehicle without a warrant. Now
Mhm.
I really need to get in there.
Now
And
I
we're all
got a
looking at him
probable
at the
cause.
table.
Yeah.
Legit, we're at the table in the middle of eating lunch, looking at this dude like,
Huh?
waiting for him to laugh, like, nah, I'm playing. But he was super serious. The minute they tell me I can't search, oh, I know you're hiding something. Or they're exercising their fucking right and want to get about. I'm trying to make it to the mall to get these fucking Kobe's before they sell out. And you over here giving me a fucking hard time, officer.
Yep.
Can I look in your trunk? Absolutely not. Can I look in your trunk?
Mhm.
We'll swapsies. Let me see what you
And-
got.
And it's not just even like police like training. I mean, even in nursing, I'm trained to like de-escalate like situations, and it's all about the words that you use and like the attitude that you have. Like, even if I have family that's being like unnecessarily aggressive, I'm like, one of the things that I'll use, I'm like, I'll tell the family, I'm like, you know what? I think we're not having really good communication right now. So we're going to take a step back and we're going to reevaluate how we're communicating.
Mhm.
And I almost feel like it's what I tell my kids to do. Use your words.
Yeah.
Use your words. It's so simple.
It is.
You would think.
I'm 46.
You
man.
would
I
think.
mean, I've been in so many confrontations where it was like, oh, you didn't fight because you're weak or this, that, whatever. It's like there's no need for fighting or it's there's ways to go around things without any type of violence or anything like that. And Law enforcement needs to understand that. And I'm not saying law enforcement doesn't understand it. There's just some people there they're just so quick to put the hand on the hip and pull out.
Yeah.
Look at me. I got a gun. You have to listen to me. Look, I understand there are situations where you have to do a show of force. Yes, I do.
Right.
But there's some situations where that's not needed. It's just like Jen was saying. You get them good old boys that's inside the squad, and it's like, oh, they go back to the squad bay and like, oh man, you saw how you was scared, and then you saw what I did. Yeah, it happens. I mean, they're there. They're inside it. They're in the system. It's I don't know.
And there's like a difference between being proud of what you do, like having pride, and being an egomaniac.
Mm-hmm.
And I think there's times where people borderline on the egomaniac, where they're like, you do as I say. I have a gun, they assert dominance. Like, you can see it a lot of times. And again, I'm going back to like a lot of the videos I've seen. Like, there's serving and protecting. There's it's all about the words that you choose and the way you like assert yourself. Like, you don't have to be that way.
Mm-hmm.
Like in this certain situation, like it comes off as an egomaniac. Like, you didn't, give him a chance. You just shot him.
Yeah. That's why you got to train to like the lowest common denominator. Like
Well, I agree with you, Tay, but even still, like this to me, this person shouldn't even be a police officer. Like, if you don't know how to basically like de-escalate a situation or use a non-lethal force, that I'm hoping, I know Eric's saying is the level of ordinance, but I'm like, you don't have another method of like de-escalating? You just got your gun?
If that's Florida, like that's a state thing that goes across all jurisdictions. Like, so obviously the state can do stuff enterprise wide for Florida. If this is not an example of, hey, we probably need to like get rid of that no level of ordinance and probably make a level of ordinance to where cops just can't go out there fucking like wide earth.
Got a gun.
Fucking, you know what I'm saying? Like Billy the Kid out here just fucking, rootin' tootin', pow pow. You can just go in the saloon and be like, I just fucking shot a bank robber and shit. Like, give me a beer. Like that's not how shit works around here. But I don't want to poo-poo it and make it, but normally we try to stay about this time for our episodes. We don't want to go too long, but because I think like we just keep, I don't want to say talking in circles.
No, I mean, the bad part about this is like hearing everybody's perspective of it.
Right. The bad part is like we come here and we have thoughts and like we throw suggestions out there, like what can happen and things, but like we can't make it happen, know. And at the end of the day, like we can just, just grieve and just try to send whatever positive vibes and just try to help everybody that we know, people close to us. Like, if this is affecting them some type of way, just, give them a platform. Hey, hear you out. I'll share my thoughts, share your thoughts, empathize, sympathize with them, just don't write people off. But I will say that Thursday when, I had 3 airmen come in there and legit be worried because like, BAH ain't crazy out here. So we're staying, these airmen move out the dorms. They're staying in some pretty like not savory areas of Hampton, so they're just like,
right.
What's to stop this from happening to me? Like, do I not bring my gun? Do I not do, cause I have a weapon, it's legally and all that stuff. But now like I'm answering the door without my gun because I don't want to get shot, but then it'd be a reason that I need my gun when I open the door and I don't have it because I'm fearing, and they're telling me all this stuff. And I like, as a shirt, I don't have an answer.
Yeah.
Like I'm telling them it's your right to have the gun when you open the door. But
my political question, well, not political question, but my view, like if I was like in a, like you said, a shirt position or whatever,
yeah,
I would be like, why did you answer the door with the gun? You know what I'm saying? Was that necessary or this and that? you don't know what this like you said, you know what neighborhood he's living in. You don't know
Right.
what he's hearing and stuff like that. Like I said, he's 23. These 23-year-old kids, man. You know, he's on the FaceTime with his girl, or whatever, and he's probably like hearing the stuff, and he's talking to the girl and hearing the knock on the door and share off. He's like, man, I don't know. And the girl probably like, man, it's probably somebody, you know, you don't know. Man, they be robbing people like that. Da, 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 da. So, you know what? I need to go get my gun. You right. Yeah. You know, go to the door. You know what I'm saying? It's
My thing is, if this dude is following the rules, following the laws,
that's what I'm saying. It's legally on. He's allowed to have the gun.
that's all I can tell him is like, as long as you are legally allowed to have this weapon and you're doing what you're supposed to do, like I can't
So-
tell you anything different. I'm not going to tell you not to.
You're not allowed.
Defend
I'm not
yourself.
saying
I can't tell you not to.
You're-
you
defend
can't say you cannot answer your door with a gun in your hand. If I go to
Eric
your door,
says-
you have a gun in your hand. I'm be
Don't
like,
open the door.
why you got a gun in your hand? Like
Eric
don't-
says, do not. So, my husband, who's, probation officer, he went through training, says, do not open the door until you see a badge. Talk through the door.
and I agree with that. I really do.
Right.
And I think, and that is a totally valid reason until you see a badge. Like, that just totally gets by the whole, like, is that really law enforcement? Ask to see their badge before you even open the door.
Thank you.
So there
I
is a
agree
good
with that. I really do.
thing to tell your troops is that, do not open the door. You can talk through the door
Okay. But yeah,
to keep them safe.
I was just like it hit
Right.
home because like when you hear it's the 23-year-old airman and then you have 18, 19-year-old, 20-year-old airmen coming to you like shirt, they're getting us out of the dorm quick and we're in these areas, like some people are like, yo, can I come back on base? I'm just like, bro,
Why are they getting out the door? Are they kicking them out the door?
Yeah.
What are you talking about?
They-
no,
Crowding.
they're pretty much because the dorms here at Langley, we got 5 buildings, but the amount of people here at the amount of airmen here is high. Like the average time these people are staying in the dorms, the most senior person in the dorms probably stayed there 8 months. Out of tech school, get there 8 months, they're out. Perfect world at a perfect base. You're a senior airman with 4 years in, possibly 3.5, whatever, and then they're just like, hey man, it's time for you to move on.
Yeah.
Here, these cats moving out with 1 strike.
I mean, don't they have like?
Yeah.
I mean, when I was in the Air Force, I had base houses. I was married, so I don't understand the concept of the dorms. But
Right.
in the Marine Corps, they had like your dorms for like non-NCOs and NCOs.
Nope.
And then you had staff NCO dorms.
Overseas, we do.
quarters and stuff like that.
Yeah.
Overseas, we got airmen, NCO, senior NCO dorms.
Yeah.
Stateside, you're in the dorms, and then they're just like, hey man, you're a grown up, go get an apartment.
Yeah.
Because we got new airmen coming in. Like
There's only so much
Mhm.
room.
we got new people coming in, you got to get out.
Yeah.
And they're only
then we're
getting
forcing
paid
these
so
dudes
much.
and you're only getting fucking $1,200 a month. And just because you're staying in the Hampton Roads area, like people are just like,
So they really kicking people out of the base,
bro,
to go live out town.
bro, unless the commander or somebody comes in and is like, this person is not ready.
Mhm.
They like why are they
He
not
got
ready? Why have-
$0 in his bank account.
and then they'll look, bro,
Partying
100%.
away.
I
He
was the
lives
same way.
paycheck to paycheck.
It's all good, Jedi man. It's cool.
I
We
hear you,
appreciate your
Jedi.
insight as all time, Jedi. It's
Well,
unfortunately it's like a topic that's going to keep coming up,
that's
because Jedi was on
Yeah.
a couple of other episodes with me and Black talking about it. And then it's just like it's been a while, but here we are again, and like when I hit you guys up, I think it was about 9:00 Eastern time last night. I was trying the hardest to be like, I was going to send you guys some of the articles and stuff I was going to talk about, like a funny show, like a Who's Man's, a house meeting, but
We can always do that at a different time, though. That's the thing is like
Yeah,
this
that's
is
what I'm
now.
saying. Like that's what I'm saying. Like I didn't want to come on here and be fake and ha ha ha. And the minute we hit in record, I'm just like, oh, I'm fucking like that's not what I wanted to do. You
Yeah.
know. So I guess
No.
that's the
I think we were feeling
the
feeling
It's your
benefit of
show.
yeah.
that's the
No,
benefit of having your own show and shit. You know what I'm saying? You just do the material you want to do,
Yeah.
you know. But we'll go ahead and start wrapping it up. But I'll let everybody kind of give their parting shots and whatnot. So we'll start with Brian, then go to Jen, then go to Tay, and then we'll wrap up.
Like I said, taking bits and pieces from from what everybody is saying throughout the conversation. Like I said, I agree with Jen and Eric when you posted that comment. Um, just because somebody's beating your door saying the police, you have to verify it. Even if you have to call the police yourself, like, hey, somebody's beating on my door saying it's the police. That's what you got to do. Besides that, yes, do I feel sorry for the guy that lost his life? I really do. Not just because, military and Air Force related and everything like that. Somebody lost his life. I'm glad to be able to come on the show and everybody's able to express themselves about the situation. I appreciate Jen's comments and I appreciate Tay's comments about it. I really do because it looks like it's just not just it's. I'm not trying to make it a race thing. I'm trying to make it a human thing, and it shouldn't happen. Another thing I want to put out there, if anybody, whenever this gets out or when people sees it, law enforcement, please check the people that you are hiring. You got to be on the job with them. You got, like I said, you got to know how to de-escalate the situation. That's the situation. That's what I saw with this whole situation was there was no de-escalation. It was I see a gun, I'm shooting. It was no split second. It was no like, let me evaluate. Is he doing anything with the gun? This and that. He just saw a gun, got scared. So if you're gonna hire scary people, man, stop doing that. That's a joke. But anyways, yeah, man, it's a serious situation. Serious situation.
Chap, Jen.
I appreciate everybody that showed up tonight. I know that SmokePit, you guys usually cut up on Fridays, but sometimes you guys get real, so I appreciate you having me on, even though I had reservations about it.
You did.
I did. I had reservations about coming on, so I appreciate you having me on. And my heart goes out to Roger and his family, and I give mad props to his mom and his family staying strong. And hope they find some good resolution to that situation. And I feel a certain way going down there and visiting this summer. So there's that.
She got Tay.
Just kind of the same thing that Jen was saying. Thank you for having me on tonight. I also was concerned about coming on tonight because I didn't think that I would have really much to say. But I'm glad that I did come on and got to share how I was feeling. It really just reminds me, like events like this, to just like reach out to your loved ones and just tell them you love them, just because you never know, when it's going to be the last time you talk to them. So it's just rough. But yeah, my heart goes out to his family, his girlfriend that had to hear that, because I can only imagine how she's doing. It's just yeah, the airmen, Jesus Christ. Yeah, that's it.
Like it sucks. Like it's one of the deaths where like I don't know them personally, but like it's affected me a certain way,
Mm-hmm.
I will say Jen was just like, I don't know if I want to come on. And this is just for anybody. I'm assuming most of the people that rock with us kind of know by now, but if any new people come on and they see Jen and they see Tay on here talking about it and be like, oh, this is just social justice warrior and all this, like, no, like Jen and I go back 20 plus years. You know, she's down 4 flats like a Cadillac. You know what I'm saying? Like, this isn't nothing new. She's always been like this. Um, she's gonna call a spade a spade. If something's bullshit, she's gonna call it bullshit. You know,
Yeah.
she's not on this ride the wave of, you know, Black Lives Matter type stuff. Like she's been down. Tay's the same way. I've known her since she came in. That this isn't anything they're doing just because they're on the smoke pit. It's so if you're in the comments and that's what you're thinking about putting in there, go ahead and get rid of that, because nobody over here is going to buy that. But it does hurt. This happens, and then on Monday, you know, we'll go live in here like we do every year and do our toast and our you know, kind of shout out to Griff and Corey and Mackenzie and Michelle and you know, just ensuring that we're not letting, you know, his memory, you know, go away. So we'll be back on Monday to do that. Stand by for a time when we'll go live and let people come in and say some words. And then again, thanks for everybody who joined. Like, I was looking at the number of people viewing, the number of comments. It warmed my heart because I literally thought like the viewership would be down because we're not laughing at people. That we're not being funny, and that people be like, oh, it's kind of a down way to start the weekend. But I was noticing when we put the post in there, the feedback and people were supporting the decision to talk about this. So again, everybody here on the show and across DFPN, heart goes out to the Fortson family. And I don't know, man. Hopefully one day, you know, some changes will be made to where things like this aren't happening as often, but one can only hope. But unless anybody else has anything to add, again, like I would click the outro video, but I feel like the mood is just, we should just probably end the episode. But everybody, good night. And like Tay said, you know, call and talk to your loved ones, man, because this world is scary out here and you never know, you know. So I'm the homie Mac, aka your boy. Thanks again to my brother Brian, Jen, and Tay, the Queens of Nerdum, joining the episode and helping me talk through my feelings, because I was very confused and emotional yesterday. So I'm thinking I'm in a better headspace, but you know, it still hurts. But we gotta move and move forward. But let's not forget the stellar person and all the potential that this young man had moving forward. So thank you guys for tuning in, and hopefully next week we'll have some laughs and some jokes for you. But until then, you guys be safe and take care. Peace.